Hey, it's Mr. Johns. Welcome to this edition of Hot Wheels Mustangs. This is kind of a special edition. I wanted to show you the shelving that I'm doing for my Mustangs. Several people asked, where did I get those awesome shelves? So I want to talk a little bit about how I display, and then I will tell you where I got the shelves. I did not build them myself. Like many of you, perhaps you tried. I tried. And I did build my own with little strips of wood from Lowe's, and it wasn't very pretty. It worked, it wasn't pretty. So if you've got a collection of Hot Wheels, whatever they are, and you've got some money invested, or you've just got 10 cars and you love them and you want to display them, so put them somewhere nice, put them somewhere where you can keep them clean and keep them away from kids who want to throw them around and race them and bend all the wheels and all that stuff. For me, I used to have them outside in my shop, and they just got covered in dust. And I eventually brought them inside, put them in my office, and I needed nice shelves so that my wife would be happy with how they looked in the house, and I would be happy with how they're displayed. So first of all, let's take a look at the cars. And so I know this is just a GoPro video, so a little hard to see, but it starts off with 1968, which is the very first year that Hot Wheels came out, and that there was only one Mustang. So that was a pretty easy year to track down. Of course, there were a whole bunch of colors to choose from, and so qualities, etc., etc. Mine is pretty rough. Someday I probably will go back and buy a really nice example. But for now, I'm just really trying to have one from each year, one of each casting of each year. So I am chronological from left to right, top to bottom. So you can see 68, 70, 71, 75, etc. Each one of these cars has a story, and some of them are personal stories for me. Others are other stories are just because I looked up the history, and I know the history of the car, or I know the history of the toy version of the car. There's just a lot to it. These are all based mostly on real Mustangs, or fantasy versions of Mustangs or whatever. And so that's part of the fun for me. So what I have is each car is in its own little plastic case. I picked those up online. I don't remember who from. I will try to find that and share that with you at a future date. But these are relatively inexpensive. They're just the little snap open, snap closed plastic cases, and they are great for this purpose. They keep the dust off the car, and I flip them over and write the year with a Sharpie on the bottom. That's a little piece of advice that I would give to a new collector. That's because once you have a whole bunch of them, if they ever get out of order, or you grab one to put on your desk to look at or photograph or something, and then you realize you don't remember where it goes, if you just flip it over and look on the bottom, mine will have the correct year, so I can at least just put them back on the shelf in the correct year. I don't have all these memorized, what year they all go to. There's just too many, over 500 at this point, and at least that many more to come. And so that really helps. And also, I used to have these dates, so I just print these off on a little labeler, and I used to actually attach them to the shelf. But what I found quickly was that I would discover a car that I missed, that I had to put into a collection year. That means I had to move the entire collection around and peel off all those stickers, and that usually destroyed them, so I'd have to reprint them. Okay, that was bad. So what I do now is I cut a little strip of index card, I put the year sticker on the little tip of the index card, and I bend it so it goes over the lip of the shelf, and then the car just sits on top of that little year tab to keep it in place. And so really super easy. Now if I need to move a year around, I can just slide all the tabs, and I don't have to. It's still kind of a pain, but it's going to happen, and that makes it a lot easier just to kind of slide them around. All right, so we go down from 1968 down through the 80s, 90s, and there was only a couple Mustangs each year for quite a while, and then you start hitting well, when the 65 convertible came out, that changed everything, right? That was up from the bottom to the top there, kind of backwards. But this is 2005 and 2006. Now, right here is where I am currently at in my collection. So I've done 1968 through 1968 through 2006. I'd say I'm 90% accurate. I've got the cars correct. I've got information on my website correct, which is HotWheelsMustangs.com. I am trying to be as helpful as possible to others, as well as just do a good job collecting my own cars. So I used to have all this in a spreadsheet, but what I found was that my website is more helpful when I'm out looking at cars. And that's why I do it that way. So 2006, starting up here with this Spectraflame Pink Mach 1, and then these cars here are all the 2006 Hot Wheels Mustangs, and then I've got a nice gap here. So what I will do next is move all these cars on the next shelf or two over to an empty spot, which, by the way, I'm quickly running out of, which means I'm going to have to pick up another shelf. And then when I do my 2007 collection, it'll start right here and work its way down. And I keep going that direction. So the nice thing is all these other cars down below, by the way, they're not in plastic cases yet. That's part of my process, is once I catalog them, research them, make sure they go to the correct year, I put them in the plastic case, flip it over and write the year on the bottom. That's my way of saying, okay, I know that this car goes to this year. And so all these cars right here, I'll need to dust off and then put in those cases. But all these cars, what I've got left, hundreds, these are all cars. Oh, let's go back. Those are all cars that I picked up at Walmart mostly for $1. And if I saw a Mustang that I didn't have, I'd grab it, $1. And that was just my method. I don't stand in line. I don't bother the stalkers. I don't try to get in the back room and open boxes. I don't sit there and shuffle through hundreds of cars looking for a Mustang. It's not worth my time. If I see one, I'll grab one. Otherwise, I guess I'm fortunate, but I'm pretty much an eBay collector. If I find it and I can get it for $6 or $10, or $1 at Walmart, but I can't find it at Walmart, I'll spend the $10. So that's just me. That's just how I do it. I also am not a big fan of buying, if I find 6 treasure hunts, buying all 6 and then reselling them on eBay for a huge profit. That's also not my thing, not my philosophy. I would buy one and leave the others for other collectors to find. So just me. And so if I look at the shelf here, what I'm hoping, what I know, these are all 2007s and up. I know that because they haven't fit into any of my previous years. So the good news is I've got a lot of cars that were bought for $1. So that means my investment is not as crazy as I thought. However, it just seems like every year that I do it, I find a lot of cars that I'm missing. So more than I'm missing than that I have. So sadly, I do end up having to buy most of my cars. But looking at what I've got left, I mean, I know I probably started buying pretty heavily in the 2000s. So I am guessing that I'm going to start filling those gaps in a lot quicker and easier with cars that I already have on the shelf than having to purchase them online. And so anyway, that's the method to my madness. What I want to show you next is where I got those shelves, because I had several people ask again, wow, those shelves look great. Where do you get them, or did you buy them or build them or what? So here is a screenshot off of eBay. It's Best Buy Displays. They have a eBay score of 77,500. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I think that's a number of sales that they've done, something related to that, but they have a 99.8% positive feedback. So I've had great experience with them. I know they build them themselves. or they know who builds these because they've done some custom sizes for me in the past. These will fit 6 cars across, and there are 12 rows. 12, sorry, columns. So you can fit 6 cars on each row, and there's 12 rows. So there you go. 12 times 6, that's how many cars you can fit per cabinet. Yes, it's a little expensive, but for the quality, it's a shiny black hardwood with felt backing for $88 with free shipping. So for that many cars, and I know I've got 7 shelves right now, so I've got, some money invested, but it really makes these cars stand out, and it's a great way to display them. I like the black. I think you can get them in different colors, but the black really makes the colors pop, and I like the felt. Even though, my cars are mostly in plastic containers, and I really wouldn't worry about, my paint getting scratched. That's not my thing. I'm not crazy about that stuff, but it's just a nice touch, I think. And so for those of you who were wondering, just look up Best Buy Displays on eBay, and you can see his store and see all of his different sizes and styles, etc. But that particular one, which again, I searched for Hot Wheels 1/64th scale diecast display case cabinet. They're big enough that they would fit 143rd scale, but I think there's enough room that they're not too squished. I mean, yeah, you could make them skinnier to make them fit more, maybe fit another row, but I like that it's a little bit more open and you can see the car from the top as well. And a reminder that these don't have doors on them, so I didn't want doors. I wanted to be able to get to the cars quickly. But it does mean that you're going to have to do some dusting, or you could probably get. He probably sells them with doors, but you could also pick up some plexiglass and have them cut and get some little hinges and probably create doors if you wanted. Plexiglass or wood. I mean, well, no, you need plexiglass. You'd want to be able to see them, obviously. So anyway, it's an option, and I think it's a great option. So hopefully that helps with some questions about how I display my cars and where I got the shelves. For now, Mr. John's out.